Hey everyone, Christina Del Rey here with your yearly forecast for the year 2021. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share, please. Enjoy. Hello Leo, welcome to your forecast for the year 2021. We start the year off with Mars in Taurus, and that happens on January 7th, 2021. And Mars has been in Aries for an extra long time this past year. So now moving into Taurus is a very different energy. And for you, this means it's moving into your 10th house. The 10th house has to do with career, your status in life, how we know you in the world. Maybe we know you as a husband, wife, father, mother. Maybe we know you as a seamstress. Whatever your title is, or people know you, this is the place where Mars is going to move in, and we're going to take the lessons that we learned when Mars was in the 9th house in the area of philosophy, law, religion, higher education, immigration, even long distance travel. We're going to take the lessons that we learned there and we're going to apply them to our status or how we are known in the world. So there's like a new truth for us in this area. Maybe you learn to assert yourself in a new way this past 2020 when Mars was retrograding in Aries for so long. And now you're going to take that and you're going to apply it to your foundations. It's just a more authentic you. Okay, so for the whole year, actually 2.5 years, Saturn will be in Aquarius. So this just happened December of 2020. So this is new, but it is in our relationship zone. So Saturn going into the relationship zone, has to do with your relationships, your partnerships, and getting serious or getting mature about those things. Wherever Saturn is in the chart, it's asking you to become a grown-up. It's asking you to become an adult. So there might be some big lessons for you in this area for the next 2.5 years. And Saturn is going to square off with Uranus, which is also in your 10th house of career and social standing, what we were just talking about. And this is going to be a struggle. It's going to be where you want to be free, but you have restriction. So the best way to you want to be free in your status, but you have these restrictions in your relationship zone or your partnership zone. So it's possible that you could feel stuck and need freedom. It's possible that breakups are possible here, but also maybe like you're entering a new phase if you're in the right partnership, and you guys are navigating that new phase a little bit differently. Maybe work has changed for your partner and you have to somehow integrate how that's going to work in your relationship. But there's some kind of conflict here, motivation to take action, letting go of the old ideas and balancing them with the new. And with more responsibility, we tend to be more free. Saturn's about responsibility and Uranus is about freedom. So when they're both going head to head, we have to figure out how are we going to take responsibility so ultimately we can have freedom. Okay, so Mercury is going to retrograde in the air signs this year. And this is a very different energy than last year, where Mercury retrograde in the water signs last year, which was very emotional, very heavy energy, where Mercury retro in the air signs is a more light energy. It's more about ideas. It's more about independence. It's more about quick information, technology. So my advice is to learn technology. But it's networking and community relating. It's all these very airy things. And it's going to happen January 30th to February 20th is the first Mercury retrograde, and that is in Aquarius. So again, we are in that partnership zone. So there are restrictions on some kind of partnership or relationship or new rules that you have to follow. And you're still navigating this. You're thinking about it, and you're thinking about how you can, how you're going to be able to do this, basically. So you're rethinking the communication with a partner or in partnerships. And then May 29th to June 22nd in Gemini. So for you, this is an area of the chart that has to do with the public or the friends that you have or the acquaintances that you have. But this is also hopes, wishes, and dreams too, and money that you earn from, from your talents and abilities. So you're going to be rethinking these things. Maybe you have new hopes, wishes, and dreams. Maybe you have a new group of friends. Or maybe you're rethinking, I don't know if I belong with this group of friends. Maybe you're rethinking, who you mingle with in society. Or maybe, maybe you're on the internet rethinking about how you're going to bring your message to friends and the public. And then September 26th to October 18th, this is Libra. And Mercury retrograde in Libra is happening for you in the 3rd house. And that is a house of communication. It's siblings, cousins, neighbors. So maybe you're rethinking, your relationship with neighbors and cousins, extended family. And maybe, maybe you're doing some short distance travel too. So, these are the areas that are highlighted for you. And when Mercury goes retrograde, there's always delays. So don't be surprised if there are delays in travel there for you. And this is always also the place where the internet, so the 11th house is internet, 3rd house is internet. So if you're doing something with the internet, you're rethinking how you're going to configure that, and that could really work for you this year. So I would embrace that if I were you. Well, I am a Leo, and I am going to embrace that. So Jupiter is in Aquarius for most of the year, right? So Jupiter and Saturn came together in December of 2020, and they brought you some kind of gift in the partnership area. And you may not know what this gift is yet, but you'll figure it out eventually. Jupiter changes signs about once a year. He's going to move into Pisces just for a little while. And then he's going to retrograde back out. And this is just going to give you a little glimpse of what's to come for 2022. So May 13th to July 28th, he's going to go into Pisces and until he retrogrades out. But when this happens, this moves into your 8th house. So the 8th house has to do with blessings on resources, or blessings on joint finances, some kind of joint, and this is resources like anything that comes to you, money from the government, money from, like a grant or a scholarship. So this is a great time, and maybe maybe if you're thinking about that this year, next year it would be a great time to apply for any kind of money grants that you want, because Jupiter would bring blessings here. But just make sure that you don't overdo spending. You're not, money isn't coming out. You want money to come in. Okay, at least more money to come in than out. But also too, this is the area of deep psychological healing too. So the 8th house is where we experience our traumas. So if you have had a trauma, this is likely to bring you some peace. So therapy will be a good idea at this time. So this is around spring. And then again, like I said, 2022. Pisces really does not know any boundaries. So you just have to be careful of who you're talking to. Therapy is a good idea. Ultimately, you want to heal those wounds. Next, I want to talk about the eclipses. So what is an eclipse? Well, an eclipse is like a reset, a shakeup, a point of crisis or culmination. Why do we have eclipses? Well, if we didn't have eclipse energy to push us to our fate or to push us, they tend to have a very fated feel. You can't really, there's certain energies you can manipulate, but eclipses tend to be one that you really can't. You just can't really manipulate that. It has a fated feel to it. And it's going to push you into the future. And we as humans, we don't like to be pushed into the future. We like status quo. We like to be comfortable. And eclipses say, nope, you got to shake it up. You got to go. So May 26th, we have our first lunar eclipse at 5 degrees Sagittarius. So for you, this is happening in a very romantic part of the sky. And it has to do with children and creative projects as well. So this is probably some kind of news, surprise news or maybe some clarity you're getting in this area. But it is a culmination energy. It's more of like an ending, or, something comes to culmination. Maybe you get news about a project that you're working on, or maybe somebody reveals to you that they have feelings for you and you didn't know. But there's some kind of surprising sort of news here that may come to you in this area. Okay, so June 10th, solar eclipse in Gemini. So Gemini for you has to do with that 11th house again. So we're talking about our projection to the public, our friends, our hopes, wishes, and dreams. So we are starting something new there. You're giving a lot of thought to this area of this part of life too. How you interact with friends, how you get your message out to the public if you have one, the internet. Okay, so November 19th, we have a lunar eclipse at 27 degrees Taurus. And this is the one-off eclipse that we have in an earth sign this year. And this is happening for you in the 10th house. So as you can see, status is very highlighted for you this year. So our friends, so is the internet, and so our relationships. So big year for you, Leo. So an eclipse here, it's a lunar eclipse. So there's some kind of culmination coming to this part of the chart. It's some kind of high point, maybe some recognition, because this is the house of recognition. But there's something here, something that you're wrapping up. Taurus has to do with resources, very likely, maybe an increase in pay. It's something that empowers you because it's trine Pluto. So I can't wait to see what that is. All right. And December 4th, we have a solar eclipse at 12 degrees Sagittarius. So this is, again, in that part of the sky that has to do with romance, creative projects, and children. So there's a new beginning for you there, and could be a new beginning on a relationship. It could be a new beginning on a creative project, or it could be a new beginning of a cycle for one of your children. Also, too, I should mention that if you are wanting to have a baby, a lot of times, you can find out that you are pregnant on an eclipse in the house of children, so in that 5th house. So if you were looking to get pregnant, it is, May is a possibility, and December is a good possibility. So, just beware. If you don't want that, then take precautions. One thing about Leos, some of the Leos, Uranus is squaring our sun, and it's also squaring Saturn. So this is going to be an interesting energy. This is a big year for Leo as far as identity, relationships, who we are, and how we deal with people in relationships. And it will not all be fun. There are definitely some stresses there, but lessons to be learned. So always try to look at the lessons that, are being shown to you. Okay, so lastly, we have, at the end of the year, we have Venus retrograding in Capricorn. So this is not happening until December 19th, 2021, and it goes all the way into January 2022. But for you, this is a part of the chart that has to do with the 6th house. So What are your values around your health, around your day-to-day environment? How are you problem solving your day-to-day environment? What are your health regimens? Is that working for you? How are your thoughts? How's your mental health? You're just taking that and you're reviewing it. You're reviewing how you are interacting with your relationships on a day-to-day basis. You're also going to review your attachment to material things. This might bring up some of the lessons that you learned in 2020 about, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto were there for a long time. So, what did you learn in this area of life? Where did you consolidate your life and make it better? Now, does this still fit with your values? How can we change this to fit with your values? Maybe you're thinking, what I'm hanging on to isn't that great. And maybe you decide that you need a new routine, you need new surroundings. Or this could be coworkers too, because it's the house of coworkers. So, do I want to be close with these coworkers? Or, how are my relationships at work? Are they helping my career? Are they hindering my career? So these are all things that you kind of want to review. Okay, Leo, I think it will be an eventful year, but I do think it will be a good year.